Hi, my name is Alexander Rahal, and this is my persuasive speech for fundamentals of speech and communication. The topic that I chose is the rise and fall of communism and why, after all the years that it's been implemented, it has never really and truly been successful. So, for my overview, I have my introduction, what is communism, what are the main countries that have used the communist system, why communism doesn't work, the psychology behind communism in the people, my conclusion, and then questions. So, um, throughout the speech, I'll show you not only why the system doesn't work on paper, but I'll also go into detail on the psychology of why this type of government doesn't work when it is carried out. So, what is communism? Communism, by definition, is a political theory derived by Karl Marx advocating class war and leading to a society in which all property is publicly owned and each person works and is paid to their abilities and needs. Many of the citizens who reside within a communist country found themselves outraged due to the fact that they couldn't make a lot of money. With this being a truth that many had to accept, a lot of people stopped overachieving and many would just do the bare minimum because why do more when being paid the same as someone who is doing less. And they also lived very impoverished, and you're able to see this around Cold War era USSR, Russia. What countries still have communist systems? Communism during the 50s and 60s was a huge thing and would actually have a lot of people in the United States fear that it would spread into the United States from Russia. This was around the Cold War era. So, for example, some countries that still have the communist system, Laos, Vietnam, Cuba, and China, are some of the more well-known countries. And for the exception of China, many countries aren't doing so well. However, China's economy has grown tremendously over the last couple of years and is actually supposed to surpass us in growth in the next coming years. This has nothing to do with the actual government structure itself. Just it has to do with the output of goods and outsourcing of products with other nations that China does business with. China is aiming for a 6% economic growth rate. However, due at the end of 2021. However, due to the recent COVID-19, they're seeing about a 2.3% growth, which is the weakest that it's been in decades. And the reason that I want to bring this up about China and its economic growth is to show you that in order to have a prosperous nation, it comes with a lot of drawbacks. Many people in China work for only a couple of cents an hour, and also a lot of people start hard labor factory work when they are very young, creating harsh work environments and living in places that are less than ideal. It's almost impossible within these systems to find a good, healthy balance. And that has to do with why communism doesn't work. The psychology of communism is people. This is Maslow's hierarchy. So when talking about psychology of the people who are subject to communism, Maslow's hierarchy pertains to this greatly. His hierarchy is split into 5 categories. Self-actualization, which means achieving one's full potential. Next, you have self-esteem needs, which deals with the feelings of feeling accomplished. Belongingness and love, which are needs that deal with intimate relationships. Safety needs with security, and physiological needs, which is health, food, water, and stuff like this. Now, the two that really stand out during this is self-actualization and esteem. So I'd like to start off by talking about self-actualizations. When you look at the United States compared to really any other country, the ways that we create opportunity are tenfold to really any other country. And you look inside a communist country, the esteem needs can be dwindling down to nothing. The main point of conflict is making the same amount of money as someone who works less and isn't nearly as qualified, smart, or talented as the other person. And saying this, money is generally a byproduct of success. The more money you make, the more successful you feel or people see you as. But when you make the same amount of money as someone, you really have no drive to do more when you're able to do less and make the actual same amount of money. And this ties in with self-actualization perfectly, with having no drive to become better in the circumstance where a system makes it difficult, almost impossible for you to reach your full potential. Both these hierarchy needs are main components of why communism struggles to work. When you don't take care of your people, it's very hard for them to take care of the system. In conclusion, communist countries leave the people unable to grow, not just economic wise, but morality and psychologically. It's very taxing on the people, and they have no reason to go out and make an extra effort. Also, a lot of government involvement leads to the inability to grow the economy. This being said, people that have a lot of, or countries that have a lot of government involvement are unable to prosper when they're monitoring everything. It leads to impoverished nations and stuff like that. So some questions I would like to leave you guys with is, do you believe that communism can relate every category in Maslow's hierarchy? I do believe, other than belongingness, you have poverty, which relates to health and security, or physiological needs, and you have self-actualization and esteem. Could a communist system ever work in today's society? I don't believe so, with a lot of people wanting to make a name for themselves, something out of nothing. I truly don't believe that it would ever work with a lot of government involvement. What are some socialist programs that are derived from communism that we see in the United States? Social Security and stimulus checks are handouts from the government, which actually have derived from communism, which is fairly cool. And this is my works cited. Have a good day, guys.